Hi, my name's Steve Faulkner, welcome to Real Magic Review, and today I shall review, just for you, Overdraft by Fowler. Before I do the review, I'd like to say all the things I always say. Like and subscribe if you like it and you want to subscribe to it. Hit the bell icon so you know when I go live or don't go live, which is usually Thursdays, 5 UK time currently. But check in on that because it might change, which is a lot of fun. And what we do, mostly, I do little talks, say little things. But it's just me, innit? Well, no, it isn't. It's us, because people watch it live. I look at all the comments that you put below and answer a lot of those questions. So if you do comment after this, know that I read every single one, and quite a lot of them I'll bring into those sessions if you have questions. So anything I forget in this review, which will be plenty, let's face it, I will back up with a second video, which will be live on Thursdays or afterwards. And of course, after this, off you go. Check out onlinemagic.co. That is my online magic course, which is huge. People love it. Have a look at the Trustpilot reviews and have a go. Have a go. Have a look. $9.99 a month. You get ridiculous amounts for that. There's not one person that says it's overpriced. It's in fact underpriced. Overdraft 1914. This is a trick involving credit cards. I'm never that keen on credit card tricks. I don't know why. It's something silly, isn't it? Because I like money tricks, but money isn't around anymore. I can't even borrow a 10p to slam in a bottle at a gig anymore, hardly. So it's difficult. So, you know, it goes to show that there should be tricks with credit cards because that's how people are paying. And phones. There's loads of tricks with phones. They're great. So this is taking an existing concept, going back to things like colour changing knives, transpositions, copper silver. Paul says himself that he was inspired by performing a note routine that was a Jane Oblazada routine. Did I say that right? I hope so. Probably not, but there you go. I've tried my best. I always get wrong. And he did that, but then when the new notes came in, it was problematic. And then chatted along with Flash, which is again a kind of color changing knives, but with flash drives. And then loads of people have done stuff like this. So he's saying that he's just taken it and we need people to do this, and updated it to credit cards, which makes complete sense, doesn't it? So the first thing that sometimes happens with credit card tricks is they don't look like proper credit cards. I have a big issue with that. It's like the minute you take a credit card out, there's something about it that you know, these are great. And I know that the 1914 have put loads of effort into making these look really good. It used to be a case where if it was a bank you'd never heard of, it was like a problem. But now there are so many different banks, it's just not a problem. They've got the chips in, they look great, they're printed well, they've put the effort in that the 1914 always do. So these are solid quality props and you get everything in here to do the routines you want to do, bar a couple of ones. There's a couple of routines with the Orphic wallet that don't need an Orphic wallet and they give you alternatives, but they're quite nice when you've got that Orphic wallet because of the switch aspect of it. But you don't need it, and there is a couple of routines using notes, using the banknotes, but not the modern banknotes. You don't need a kind of old-fashioned one. So that's that. So what's the trick? Well, it's more of this does a lot more than you originally think it does. The routine is there's loads of routines, but the first half of these are based around one move, which is this kind of cloning move. You just say, it's mad. The way thieves work these days is obviously they don't go and rob banks anymore. There's no cash, so they clone credit cards, and it's a really kind of dangerous thing actually, because what they do is they take a credit card and they'll clone it. They genuinely will. So they don't need the physical thing. So they just, it's just a clone thing, and you can see that you've just cloned 2 credit cards there. That was terrible, obviously, and don't buy it on the strength of that. Or not buy it on the strength of that, I'd say. But I'm just giving you the basic move. There's this thing called the clone move. I think that's what it's called. Doesn't matter, but it does matter, obviously. It matters a great deal. But as long as you see it, and that's what the first load of routines are made of, and different ways of presenting that, or putting routines before it. So there's a lovely routine where you show the cards, and and banknote appears between them. It's really striking, actually, super easy. And I will say all the stuff on here is really easy. There's nothing that's difficult. And that's what I really like about it. It's all really striking stuff. all very easy. Yes, there are a couple of frustration counts and things like that, but nearly everybody can do that. So that's, I'd say that about all of these. So there's different routines using wallets, using normal wallets. You don't need special wallets, and the ways to do that switch and give it some context. There's a nice thing with a kind of optical illusion. There's a couple of routines where you transpositions where you put one in the wallet, they see it clearly go in there, and they change colors, and they take the one out of the wallet and they can have a look at it. And it's just a very clean transposition. Again, like a sort of copper silver transposition, but even more, you know, copper silvers and things like that, sometimes it's hard to keep track of, but these are really, I mean, the difference in these is great. And one of them's matte and one of them's sort of more gloss, so they thought about that as well, giving it a really obvious kind of difference. And I know for some of you that haven't done transpositions before, you may think, well, it's obvious anyway, they're a different color, but it's funny how, you know, people's minds work when sometimes you say, what coin you got in your hand, they can't remember. You know, it's you've got to be careful. So they thought about all these to make it as clear as possible. I'm not going to go through every routine because there is a lot on here, and I won't say there's any filler. There's a couple of routines I kind of went, that kind of feels like a bit of filler. One of them I did feel, but I think that was kind of more my prejudice to what I like. Because what they're trying to do, obviously, is give you loads of different context to help you understand that this isn't just a trick, it's a thing. Is it a utility? I always get mixed up. But, you know, it's a utility. It's something that you can do loads of stuff with. That's what it is. I was going to say device, but it's not really a device, is it? But I suppose it is. Not rambling or anything, so at least that's a good thing. There's a trick near the end of the magic section, because then it goes into the mentalism section, really, where Lewis comes in after Paul and shows his version, which is really, I really like the way they do that. It's a magic trick, but then you can do all this mentalism, and then part of me, when that happens, goes, oh, it's just going to be kind of shoehorned in to make it look like a mentalism, but actually there's some really solid stuff in there. But there's a trick at the end of the magic section when it started, and I kind of went, oh no, this isn't going to be good. It's kind of using it as to do a card trick. So you basically write on the card a prediction, they see the prediction, so even though you know I'm going to make you choose the card, it's kind of an influence thing, and you go through the deck, you do a mistake, talking like an 8-year-old, you make a mistake, you do a mistake, you do the mistake, and they go, you've done that mistake. You make a mistake, but then they see the prediction has actually changed on the card. It's a fine trick, it's good, but what it does is it makes you realize you can use this in a different way, rather than a visual kind of transposition, which, you know, they've got this lovely visual thing where you throw the card in the air and it looks like it changes in the air, almost like the changing cards thing, which is great. But you can also do this to kind of create a subtlety, really, to make them see that there's two different cards. You're not drawing attention to them, but it actually enhances the trick and it kind of cancels out that thing of any kind of move, which I really like. It made me think, oh, you can actually do quite a lot with that. And that trick is great, it's fine, and you do it, and I think you'd get really strong reactions because it's got that kind of kicker thing, which I always like, where it seems to change, you know, just something on it, the ink changes, you know, it says something different. So great, but it'll open up lots more for you, as did the mentalism side of things. So Lewis starts with a really nice routine. Oh, there's a great routine with, was it Paul that Lewis did? Anyway, with envelopes, which I actually set up, was going to go and perform, but I couldn't find anywhere to perform it, which is so easy. But it's another influence thing where you've got two envelopes, you put the orange one in one, you put the black one in another, and you say, right, I'm going to try and influence you to make the correct choices. And this is when you see on the trailer, and they basically say, you hold this smiley face, is it red or black? And they get it right twice. They go, great, I'm getting it right. And then on the last one, they fail, but then you've predicted they get the first two right and the second one fail by the bit of paper that's on the table. Another flawless explanation from me, of course, which should clarify everything for you. And then Lewis has got this really lovely routine where they hold the card up, you take a picture of it, and you say, I'm going to influence you to think of the colour orange. You say, what colour was the card? They say orange. You say, no, look at the photo, and it's in fact black. I think it's really nice, and Lewis always puts these lovely subtleties and these lovely presentations in, which I always learn quite a lot from. Lewis thinks about these simple ideas, but makes them a lot more magical, and I think that's great. And I think all of the ideas in that section are really good, actually, and I came away going, this when I first opened this, I kind of went, there's a credit card trick, and then went, there's actually loads you can do with this. Of course, it's an everyday carry thing because it's credit cards, so you can just get it out and do a moment. I did this silly social media thing, which you might have seen, ridiculous, which was basically because I couldn't get any footage. I kind of recorded a thing in here, which is a thing using a 12 change and a kind of snap change thing, which is really lovely. You're not going to do it live. You might do if you stand back, but it's just another way of using this. And I think if you are doing stuff on social media, you'll think of a lot of different things you can do with this. My mind already started going how I can bringing the card to end clean. Now there are a lot of routines which do end clean. There are some that don't. Not a problem for me. It just isn't a problem. And actually in a live situation you'll find, because you get the gimmick and the non-gimmick, you can ring in something, give it out for examination, and they're not going to see any kind of switch because of the way the routines are built and the way the stuff happening in their hand and all that kind of thing. So incidentally, one of the transpositions using the wallet you can always also do under a spectator's hand. So see, you put the orange one under their hand, the black one, you change them, visually this changes and they look under their hand and that's changed colour. Again, like the colour changing knives, but because they're kind of bigger and they've got context, it feels a little bit more current. I think that's about it. All the stuff on here I think is easy. It's going to take practice, it's going to take learning. You can have a little moment and do a quick trick. You can build a stronger routine. I think the magic stuff in here, it's not something I'd close a routine with. I don't think it's not going to create ripples like that, or create, something like that. Don't know. I tried to be clever and say a thing and it didn't come out very clever. But it's not a major thing, but I think in a way it is, because there's a lot you can do with these credit cards. So even though, like I said, it's not like putting a bottle through a table, you could put it in the middle of a set and do something really cool, or when you're out with your everyday carry, just get a couple of credit cards out and create some real magic. I really like it. It's really nicely done. The download is really nicely done. There is another thing that's hidden in the well, not hidden, you get a PDF. There's something else about these cards which I don't know what it is, because at the time of recording this is going out tonight and the thing isn't released yet. It's released in a few hours. So I haven't seen the extra thing that these cards do. I will talk about that on the Thursday show live, but you'll be able to find out about it, I'm sure, from other people. So thank you to the 1914 for sending me that. Loads more to say about this, but you get the idea now. It's an honest trick. It does what it says and it does it very well. It's taught very well. It's easy. It's not that angly or anything like that. And if you've got any kind of wallet, you're going to be able to do a lot of this stuff, and even like a thin wallet. And if you haven't, you can use spectator's hands, use your pockets, anything you like. All right, have a good one. Take care. Any questions, you know what to do in the comments. Like, subscribe, go check out onlinemagic.co. Learn from a pro. Have a good one.